entire
Did they boo you
day.
off or something?
No, they were politer than that. It was kind of like we were mosquitoes. You know, like what the hell is this exactly?
Right. Well, that reminds me of a gig that a drummer friend of mine, got to play out really.
I didn't have to set anything up um, at a cowboy camp. I think that'd be a kick in the butt, particularly.
Okay, there we go.
Good morning. Good morning and welcome. Good morning. Welcome to the Mount Diablo Unitarian Universalist Church. I'm the Reverend Leslie Takahashi, and my pronouns are she and her. We're so glad to have you here today, and if you're visiting among us, welcome. You don't have to believe a creed to be comfortable among us, and we'd love to talk to you more about our beliefs, which we covenant to affirm and promote. You can also learn about them. Tristan, you're not showing me. Sorry for the folks at home. Hi, folks at home. Let's say welcome one more time to the folks at home. Welcome. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome. So we also have a special gathering that'll be held the second Saturday of the month on November 13th. And next week after, which for those of you who are visiting and want to learn more about us, and next week after service, those who've been with us long enough who'd like to become members will have a special signing time for after the service as well, which some of you have been requesting. So I want to say that our Bid for Love auction, the online part, is live. Can we just take a moment and thank our Bid for Love folks? And thank everyone who's donated to make this a success. And now we have to make it a success by bidding. So we're excited about that. After services today, we will be having our Connect groups. We have 3 different kinds. These are small groups that allow you to kind of get to know and reconnect with some folks. I'm excited. I'll be stepping in today to run the Bending the Arc group today. So I hope some people will join me to do that today. I want to thank all who attended our Widening the Circle event. It was wonderful to have it. Yes, that was an amazing event. And we will be getting that up for you to be able to see if you weren't able to come just by watching it virtually. Tonight, what day is today? Can anyone tell me what day today is? Like, is it a special day? Oh, it's Halloween, right. Okay, Christmas, someone said. Those people over there don't know what they're talking about. Okay. It is Halloween, and tonight at 5 o'clock, we are going to have a trunk or treat event in our parking lot. So we hope that we will see some of you here, both either like I'm going to be with your trunk, or coming to get the treats, whichever you would like, whichever role is the right one for you. So that's tonight. So to find out everything that's going on, please go to our website. We also have an email we send out every Friday that has a bunch of stuff about what's going on here. So if you're not getting that, see someone at the table and we'll make sure that we can do that. Please contact me or intern Minister Michael Macias if you're in need of a listening ear or financial support during these times. We are very glad that you are here. Welcome to this beloved community. Just take a moment.
That's good. Thank you, Tristan. Yay! Good morning. I'm Janice Davis, a member of your Board of Trustees, and my pronouns are she, her, and hers. And if you'd like to read along with me, Mount Diablo Unitarian Church is a welcoming faith community. We begin our services by reading our mission together. We bring to life our Unitarian Universalist values as we seek truth and work for justice, nurture compassion and courage, reach out to each other and to our larger community of faith, bridge the divisions that wound the human family, transform ourselves and our world. Welcome to our service. We're so glad to have you with us, whether you're on campus, on a screen, or watching us later in the week. We're continuing to be together and appreciate your consideration as we make spaces that include as many as possible. So keep masking and keep registering. It helps our staff plan for events. We look forward to seeing you at our Bid for Love event. It'll be next Saturday from 4 to 6:30 p.m. right here. Just remember, you can bid on silent auction items, yay, this morning, yay, online at the website. Donations to the wine pool are still needed, and you can buy raffle tickets right here today, or you can buy them online. Register for all the fun events. And there's some coming up that have early dates, like in November. A getaway date is coming November 15th. Get a group together, and the Polgars have donated something really special for that day. Now, we need to do one other thing. We need to give another round of applause to our fundraising team who have been doing such hard work. Yay! And welcome. It's good to be together.
Good morning. We want to welcome you into this worship space this morning. We invite you to come in, listening actively, humming along if you feel moved to do so. Come, come, whoever you are. Come, whoever you are. Wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again come. Come, whoever you are. Wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again come. Come, whoever you are. Wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again come.
Good morning. I'm the Reverend Rodney Limmery, and my pronouns are he and him. For the past 3 years, it's been my pleasure to serve this congregation as its representative on the Interfaith Council of Contra Costa County, or I4C for short. I4C has been serving the Contra Costa community since the late 1990s and currently has representation of 109 organizations and congregations across the county who have a wide range of faith traditions and lived philosophies. I4C has been and continues to be an integral partner in our continued justice work here at this church over the past many years. I4C members have attended our public witnesses that occurred pre-COVID at the BART station and other locations across the county. During these challenging COVID times, our efforts in supporting Contra Costa through the Interfaith Council's partnership has largely focused on two of their main programs, iCare, which has a myriad of opportunities to distribute services, food, and resources to those in our community most in shelter need and food need, and a new exciting program that I really hope MDUUC will also decide to participate in called iChange. This is an innovative mentorship program for the youth and young adults who are currently incarcerated in Contra Costa's Juvenile Detention Center. These are just two of the myriad of programs and opportunities that I4C and its organization hold for us to become involved in that are bettering the county in which we live. Now, not only am I this congregation's representative to the council, but I also sit as a governing board member for the I4C nonprofit. These times are economically challenging for all organizations, and very tough decisions are having to be made all over, including at I4C. Today, our congregation is attempting to live our UU values by honoring the interconnection of all things and various organizations by sharing our offertory plate with the I4C community. And this really couldn't come at a better time for them. The resources for running the various programs and keeping the education and support that this organization provides the county and the 109 congregations, organizations that participate with them is extremely limited. I hope that you can find space in your heart and in your wallets today to make a donation to I4C so that the incredible work they do in our own county may continue. Thank you for considering this ask. And please, I'd just like to remind you to visit their website at interfaithccc.org or contact me directly for more information on how you can become more involved in our interfaith efforts in this county and beyond.
Hello, it's on, sweet. This is a line from a poem by Edna St. Vincent Millay from her poem, Conscientious Objector. It's, I shall die, but that is all I shall do for death, for I am not on his payroll.
Good morning. Oh, that was sad. Good morning. Better. I have a question for you this morning. How many of you have seen the movie Coco? There's this wonderful scene in the movie where the main character, Miguel, is talking to his abuelita, his grandmother. And I'm going to ask my dear friend Marina to help me reenact it. But I'm going to play abuelita in this scene. I know. Dia de los Muertos has begun. It's the one night of the year our ancestors can come visit us.
I thought that might have been one of those made-up things. Shh. But
Shh, tonight is about family.
In the movie, Hector tells Miguel if there's no one left in the living world to remember you, you disappear from this world. But you can change that. In fact, we can change that.
Dia de los Muertos, though often wrapped up in celebration of Halloween, is a cultural ritual rooted in history and religious tradition. Dia de los Muertos dates all the way back to the Aztecs, and it was a way to honor our loved ones who have passed on from the physical world. To celebrate our ancestors, we create ofrendas, or altars, to honor our ancestors and guide their spirit. An ofrenda can include anything that honors your loved ones, but it traditionally has photos of those we love, perhaps their favorite foods, their favorite drinks, and includes the 4 elements of earth, wind, water, and fire. You'll often see marigolds, candles adorning it, and papel picado, little papers, to decorate it. The altar often includes copal, a tree resin that is used as incense. The sweet smell of copal is used to guide our loved ones back to home.
As Abuelita reminded Miguel, today is about family. This morning, I invite each of you to join me in creating a community ofrenda to honor your loved ones and our community family members who have transitioned. Through this practice, we will ensure that they never cease to exist in this world or in our hearts.
So I understand each of you has an item to put on the ofrenda this morning. So as Mark plays you off to class, I invite you to lay your items on the ofrenda. Please feel free to hum along as we play the children off to class.
As you go, may choice around you. As you go in peace. Know our love is with you always. As you go, as you go.
I'm Jean Wilcox. A couple of years ago, I met a woman through the British America Club in Rossmore. The club didn't last long, but our friendship did. She was a strong, determined, highly intelligent woman, and a few months ago had trouble typing, left and right-hand coordination. She called me, and I said, "Oh, it's probably nothing," said Dr. Jean Wilcox. However, she mercifully sought professional help and was diagnosed with brain cancer, inoperable. She decided not to let dreaded brain cancer take its toll, but complete her own life, as the expression goes, on her own terms. She wanted no service, no farewell party, and no last supper. The day she chose was this past Monday. A bright, cloudless day. 4 friends, I was not one of them, gathered at 10:15. She was euphoric and had planned a program of music and poetry, which they enjoyed as much as she. At 11:30, she administered with joy her own MD-prescribed elixir, fell immediately unconscious, and died pain-free 20 minutes later. While she died in a state of euphoria and emotion communicated apparently to all in attendance, I did not share it and have had a rough week. Still am. While I was totally accepting of her position and would do the same if I were there, I was grieving the untimely loss of a friend. No one to do the New York Times crossword with me, and no one to do all the things we had planned. But I had and still have an awesome respect for her determination, and in that spirit, come, let us worship together.
We want to invite you to rise in body or spirit and enter into a place of active listening, of reverence, of meditation, as we think of all of those who have gone on before us. All my memories of love hang upon high stars. All the souls I've lost to tears, now the autumn jars. And the air around me here thickens with their song. Sing again their nameless tune, sing again and strong. Willows in September touch the water clear, set among the rushes tall of the flowing year. Rising up from sunlit past comes the shadowed side, running toward me silently, love to fortify. Many are the graceful hearts hung upon this tree, and it seems there's room for mine on these branches free. And the sky above the tree, whether wet or bright, is my ease and comforting, my good news and light.
Come to the part in our service where we uplift the joys found in this community and recognize the sorrows that are too much for any of us to bear alone. Andrea Quigley asked that we light a candle of sorrow for her beloved aunt, Donna Genovese. Elsie Mills asked that we keep her husband in our prayers and thoughts as he is ill. And finally, I'm going to ask Reverend Leslie to light 2 candles. The first representing all the joys and sorrows that remain unspoken in our collective consciousness. And the second, a gentle reminder that we are the keepers of love and justice makers in this one imperfect but important world.
I would like to invite you to join with me in a time of prayer, that deep ask. And as we join into this time, I invite you to actually come present to wherever you are. If you are here on campus, it may be the first time you've been here in more than a year, and it may be a little odd to be here among other members of the congregation that you love. And if you are at home, you may be distracted by all the things that happen when we're at home doing many things. So just for a few minutes, I invite us to be truly wherever we are, truly with whoever we are with. And if some of those distractions need our attention right now, that is also okay, but let us be present to what is. And in that spirit, we come into this space. Great mystery, which is life and death and the space between the stars. Today we gather to hold together what we can't hold alone. The reality that we can have personal loss in addition to this time which seems awash in loss. Together we hold our desire to hold that which we know we cannot live without, and also to let go of that which life and circumstance is telling us it is time to relinquish. Spirit of life, in this time of changing seasons, when the veil is thin between the world of the living and the world of those who have died, we ask that we hold our gratitude, that our relationships with those who we have known and who have died continue beyond the finitude of their lives, for they become the ancestors who laughed with us, the ancestors who were harsh, but now who cry with us, the ancestors who taught us the true nature of love, the departed who were reckless and yet now are stilled, the departed who were once a fury and now are a model of balance. In this annual dialogue with our dead, we ask, from the depths of our hearts, for authenticity. We who do not need our dead to become flawless after death can celebrate their humanity and in it see our own. May we have the broadness of heart to continue to embrace our own relationships with these beloved dead, so that we can also let go of any missteps or regrets, especially in this time when so many of us didn't get that last space we wished with the people who are now gone. And in this space together, may we name in our hearts our joy at the connection and let go of that which keeps us from feeling it more fully. Together, in this place in which we truly are, may we remember them and let us remember the best that their life was and carry it forward. May we remember them and let us dialogue so that the things that harmed them need not still harm us. May we remember them and let it be with honesty and humility and compassion. May we remember them with the bravery to continue the work of relationship. In this space, let us hold for a moment all who are here with us today, and let us quietly and not so quietly say aloud in the space that we create together their names. Just to recall, Landria Williams, Newdell, Beth Snorham, Beverly Borton, Annie Ono, Till Evans, David McPherson. May we take another moment and hold all these names in our hearts so that their lives continue to teach and inform ours and our lives theirs, and the sacred dialogue continues. This is our deep ask, that we may make it so. Amen, amen, and blessed be.
At the blueness of the skies and in the warmth of summer, at the opening of the buds and in rebirth of spring, at the rising of the sun and at its going down, we remember them. We remember at the
Hi, everyone. My name is Davina Smith. I'm a member of your Board of Trustees, and my pronouns are she, her, and hers. Before I joined the board, I had no idea how much effort went into ensuring the financial continuity of our church. On this day of the All Souls service, can we just take a moment of gratitude for all the folks who have donated their time, talent, and treasure to sustain this congregation over the years? Whether they are still with us or not, to honor them and continue their legacy, please give generously during this Bid for Love season, one of our most important annual fundraisers. Thank you for being here. The ushers will now come forward to collect the offering. And now please join me in reciting the dedication of our offering. To the work of this community in transforming ourselves and our world, we dedicate ourselves and our offerings.
At the heart of our All Souls service each year is the opportunity for those who have suffered a loss in recent years to process with a candle. And as you can tell by the way the seats have cleared up around you this afternoon, we have quite a few people who have chosen to do that and share that honor with this community. We also, because we are in the times that we are, offered a virtual offering for people to send in a picture, and some did both. And because we're in the times that we are, there was a platform change on one of the platforms we use to produce this service, and it caused some of those pictures to start disappearing this morning right before you all came. It was a little stressful, so give extra thanks to our tech team. If your picture wasn't here, we did receive it. We spent actually quite a few hours putting them all into a beautiful slideshow, some of which we hope is still there. But we will republish it later in the week and send you a link so you can see the full show. And let us know that in whatever spirit and whatever form we are together today, what is important is our intention to let others around us know that we are people who love and we are people who mourn. So if you are a mourner whose slide didn't make it in today, be sure to tell a few people in your community because we honor you as well. And now, let our candle procession begin. And now let's take together a collective breath and let's exhale it as well. So many people, so many beloved people. I am glad that in this era of tiny little headsets and ever-present personal entertainment bubbles that people might be walking around in, that a person smiling to themselves doesn't look that odd. A person talking to themselves in today's world doesn't actually look that strange or unusual. And I'm glad, because especially in this time of year, I feel the presence of so many, especially those whose spiritual home was this congregation. Somehow I'm always feeling them when I'm driving around through the different towns, remembering last conversations or first conversations or particularly meaningful conversations. I remember a joke or a kind of humor, and that's where I start smiling, imagining the jokes that might be made if they were riding shotgun with me in that moment. And sometimes I'm smiling, and every now and then, those tears start to come. On Friday, in a conversation about our UU values with our national leaders in our faith, I found myself on the literal edge of tears because one of the friends who I lost these last 2 years, who was supposed to be pictured in our show, was Elandria Williams. And E wrote the charter for that work that we're now doing as an association and drove some of us a little wild while they were doing it. Maintaining our relationships with the departed is a human need, as ancient as those that arose when the ancestors looked up at the sky and wondered about life's expansiveness, and those who have experienced the excruciating break that is the loss of the physical presence of someone that you love, no matter how that love turned out in the end, can be catapulted into a new exploration with those they love, members of an amazing new federation of mourners, a club who, in my experience, members of which laugh as much as they cry together when they are gathered. The world's wisdom traditions give a special place at the spiritual table for those who face grief. Grief comes about because of a loss, and it can be the loss of a beloved or not even so beloved human being. And people can experience grief at the shocking disappointment or the loss of an ideal or of a satisfying experience or position or job or of a well-functioning body. Or, as we have all experienced in these last years since we have been able to do this service together in person, some of us, a loss and change in just the nature of the status quo. Most of those wisdom traditions tell us to keep a door ajar, an ear open for further dialogue with what or who has been left behind, especially with our beloved dead, because these relationships are not static if we allow ourselves to remember and stay engaged with them. Psychologist William Worden, who has written much about grief, believes that mourners have 4 tasks, and their ability to approach and undertake these tasks determine whether the grief will be the beginning of a new journey or whether it will be a sad half-life in a past one. Worden says the tasks are to accept the reality of the loss, experience its pain, adjust to the fact that this loss is real, and find an ongoing connection with that which is now gone. Accepting the loss is a gradual process, which is why annual rituals such as this one matter, and there are people who have asked to stay in our procession year after year, and that is a good part of their journey. As one writer summarizing Worden writes, some denial can serve a purpose in that it allows you to slowly absorb the full weight of the loss. However, remaining or idling in denial is the antithesis of acceptance. You must confront your own denial and accept that loss has occurred. Acceptance is the surrendering to reality as it is. Similarly, experiencing the pain of grief Avoidance compounds that pain. Experiencing the pain of what we have lost, though we may try to avoid it at all costs, and some literally lose their lives trying to avoid it, actually allows us to move through the pain and on to something else. Walden says, adjusting to an environment with the deceased missing is essential, even though it can seem disloyal. Perhaps in some ways, we are all experiencing that with our efforts to hold on to the life that existed prior to 2020. Those who have not made this adjustment and yet who still keep trying to return and return and return to that which no longer exists are the ones assaulting airline staff and essential workers. And finally, finding an enduring connection with the deceased while embarking on a new life. For if you stay in dialogue with it, those who study such things say, as well as our wisdom traditions, you will continue to receive the gifts of those relationships from your dead, no matter what your relationship was when they were alive. And I'm grateful to Michael for sharing from their cultural tradition, the wisdom traditions of an ancient people. And as our Time for All Ages demonstrated, they're often juxtaposed with the sadness of loss and the joy of living. Dias de los Muertos is a ritual that is about joy and connection, celebrating the pleasures of life with the departed. And rituals such as this All Souls Day exist as a stopgap, a placeholder in a dominant culture which shuns grieving and only wants us to move in a kind of neutral middle. At these times, we're surrounded by an amount of loss which is inconceivable, and the instinctive need is to push away our own personal losses, which can seem very seductive. And yet these traditions, like the now deceased people who ride shotgun with me through the streets of Contra Costa County and tell a few jokes as we drive, suggest that we can do otherwise, and that we need to do otherwise, and that we need to do it together. These rituals, which are found in so many traditions, including the Confucian culture, the pagan culture, and of course, the Christian culture from which we get All Souls, allow us to hold together what we may not be able to hold alone. The pain of knowing that the world has changed, and also that we have to move forward, as we talk about in our grief group almost every month. So, in an interesting twist of fate, some of the pictures that didn't show up this morning were the ones that I had placed in the show this morning. And as I put them in there, I recognized what I had recognized intellectually in a different way, placing the picture of each of them in the procession. That many of the friends who I've lost, in fact, the vast majority of the friends I lost in the last 2 years were Black. And E and Chester reminded me when they were alive, and remind me as a voice in my ear now, that it's not incidental, and that I better watch myself now, because now they're my ancestors, and they can get me. And I remember how they always wanted to share their tradition of pouring a libation, and how E always wanted to do it into a plant, because she didn't want to waste the water, and several times in hotel settings that meant she watered a plastic plant. Poor people in East Palo Alto, until a few months before he died, knew what Chester knew, which was that the extra pain of what has happened because of the health disparities has caused what columnist Marissa Evans calls the Black bereavement crisis. So that means that it's important for us to recognize the different ways that cultures hold what it is that we all have to experience, knowing that sometimes there are extra layers upon that. And that gets to a part of our universalist history, which is our dialogue with our departed, which allows them to continue to be part of their journey, even when we can't do it in real time, face to face. In this way, our ancestors remain on that path of redemption, which we believe is open to all, and we as well, in our relationships with them, remain on that path as well. By continuing our dialogue with those who have died, we shift the balance away from pain and into that joyous celebration of these now gone lives. We can remember them by cooking their favorite meals, by creating art to honor them, by carrying a keepsake with us. There is the indigenous tradition of having a giveaway to summon generosity in their spirit. We can create an altar. We can light a candle. We can write them a letter. Rituals and remembrances I have come to see after presiding over scores of memorials here in this congregation are not foolish superstition. The tasks of grieving are to integrate our loss into our lives and create an ongoing connection with the people who have died, while also finding a way to continue to live. So I will keep on laughing and talking to those that ride with me in the car as I move around this county, remembering them and growing with them as I grow. In the words of the Sufi poet from the Muslim mystical tradition of Sufism, Rumi has this to say: be sorrowful, be full of sorrow, that you may become full of joy. Weep, that you may break into laughter. What hurts you blesses you, for darkness is your candle.
We invite you to rise in body or spirit. You can clap along to this. You can snap. Love will guide us. Love will guide us. Peace has tried us. Hope inside us will lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us to the hot night. If you cannot sing like angels, if you cannot speak for thousands, you can give from deep within you. Love will touch the world with your love. Love will guide us. Peace has tried us. Love inside us will lead the way from the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night.
And before I give the words of our benediction, I need to say that there are some fairly excited people that plan to give you a little costume parade when we get outside. So please do pause and make sure that we have proper appreciation for the season. Our benediction today is from Lori Gottlieb, who writes for The Atlantic. Healing doesn't mean that the pain goes away. It means that the pain becomes a sacred part of you that you carry inside forever. Often, grieving people come to me hoping I can help them find closure, but I've always felt that closure was an illusion. Besides, how can there be an end point to love and loss? Do we even want there to be one? Let us take these words and our own sense of connection out into the world, and let us do so in the spirit of peace. And we will recess out to be ready for the costumes during this last hymn.